It is Car Con Carne, the world's only food podcast recorded in a car. That car is my Mazda 3. I'm James Van Osdell, and sitting shotgun this week, the founder of ManBQ. It is Jesse Valenciana.
Hello, James.
This is long overdue.
I know.
I took another member of the ManBQ collective, like the Borg, John Carruthers, to a really bad barbecue restaurant. So I feel like I'm paying back ManBQ by taking you to Superdawg for this week's show.
Overcompensating, I think.
This is a Chicago institution.
Yes.
You can't miss it. It's on the northwest side. Every time you drive by, you see the hot dogs on the roof, the encased meat effigies of Maury and Flory,
Yep.
the couple that started this business. I love Superdawg. I've been going here since I was a kid. When I used to travel for business a lot, I would stop at Superdawg, either coming or going on my way to O'Hare.
Yeah. So I actually have Superdawg's at a very special place in my heart. I grew up not too far from here on the northwest side in Norwood Park, Oriole Park area. And the one thing I remember when I was a kid, my parents had their real estate agent down the street from here. So when we came out here, this guy promised them these houses that they would love, and we came and ate here. And it was 1986.
Okay.
So I was like a little kid, and I remember looking at Maury and Flory and was like, whoa, and then the whole driving thing was amazing to me. And then with the first house that we saw, my parents fell in love with it. We came back again, ate here again, and I was like, this is where I want to live. This is where I want to grow up. So I've been coming here for a long time, and I always think of that. It's got that place in my heart,
Hey, this is one of those places, truly one of those Chicago places that creates that kind of reaction. And here I am. I'm a parent. I have kids who now both enjoy the Chicago location where we are and the Wheeling location, which is kind of fantastic. There's a lot of indoor dining, way more space. You can picnic out there. Well, I guess you could picnic out here too, but the Wheeling location is fabulous too. Superdawg it evokes nostalgia. The food is awesome. And that leads me to a question. I've been thinking about this before we sat down. What makes a hot dog good? I mean, because we all kind of know what hot dogs taste like. To me, it's hard to differentiate a good hot dog from a bad hot dog.
Well, what are we talking about with Superdawg right now? I mean, we've got these memories around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a huge part of it. I think it's more than just the actual food product itself. You can add all the ingredients you want. You can do a depression dog or Chicago style hot dog or whatever. There's so many kinds of hot dogs. We're talking Chicago, but it's memories. Like Gene and Jude's. Is it the best hot dog in the world? No, but it reminds me again of going out there and my mom kind of being like, hey, you guys want a hot dog?
Yeah.
And going up to Gene and Jude's, And same thing again with Superdawg. It reminds me of growing up here, picking our house, and actually my first date ever when I first started driving was at Superdawg. My first girlfriend ever. We ended up eating a hot dog here.
That's an amazing story.
So it's like...
Well, in Superdawg, it's everything. They've got the packaging down. They serve the dogs with the fries in the box, the crinkle fries, which I love. And I'm a big fan of the Whoopski dog, which comes in like an onion bun.
Yeah.
It's the best.
And just like, everything, the little screen here, the order screen, the verbiage they have, the copy they have in the boxes from the bottom of my pure beef heart is always... it's so Chicago.
It clearly is.
Yeah. There's no place like this. It's amazing.
I've interviewed you a dozen times. I ask you the same thing every time, assuming that people don't know. ManBQ is?
It's a social club that was founded upon the three pillars that matter so much to all of us is meat, beer, and rock and roll. Mm-hmm. We started going into our 10th year of existence. We released our first cookbook a couple years ago, and we're actually set to release our second cookbook next year.
And what's that called?
And that one's called Eat Street. So it's
and the focus is street food.
Yeah.
So explain what street food is.
So a lot of the guys that have been part of the book, we've all traveled around the United States and around the world, and it's, I guess you could even consider Superdawg street food. Really, it's something that's native to where you are. I was in Thailand a few years ago and I fell in love with the street food there, and there was these different food carts, and you go to Austin, there's the breakfast tacos, stuff like that. That's all part of the street food culture.
I love a good breakfast taco.
Oh, I love. I was in where was I? Louisville, Kentucky, for work, and I made these amazing breakfast tacos. We rented an Airbnb, and there was about 7 or 8 of us, all from the craft beer industry, living together in this house. and everybody's cranky. And we woke up, and I made these chorizo breakfast tacos.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was finally my friend.
So, all right. So we're here supporting the meat part of Meat, Beer, Rock and Roll. Your whole life is the beer part.
Yeah. My professional life is. I travel the world now for a beer company in Chicago.
So is it one of those things like you hear people who work at 31 Flavors, they can't eat ice cream again for as long as they live because they're surrounded by ice cream all day long? Is it the same with working in the beer industry?
Yes and no. I love, there's so many parallels between food and beer. I mean, you drink a beer, it's not, it's not your dad's beer anymore. It's not just like a Budweiser, a very flat and not very appealing beer. It's like there's so many different beers out there now. Actually Superdawg's got 3 different beers. They partnered up with Lake Effect Brewing, who ManBQ partnered up with to make a beer. And they make these complex beers, so there's so many different flavor profiles, and it's when I get off the road, I come home and the last thing I want to do is drink a beer. I want just water or juice, but the minute I go out and have dinner, I'm like, what would really taste good with this hot dog, and you pick a beer. That's how it is for me. So like you can never fully just walk away and like turn on. There's not like a switch where it's like, okay, no more beer.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm good.
Yeah,
been doing that all day. I'm out.
It's and again, I mean, I don't drink as much when I'm off the road. When I'm on the road, I'm at these events and they're very beer centric, and I'm doing these beer dinners where I talk about the food that we have for people at night and why we paired it with this beer, and it's really cool because it's very educational. So you're drinking beer, but yeah, when you get off the road, it's like, all right, I have to take it easy a little bit and lose those 30 pounds that I gained. But it's
it's interesting. As I get older, a lot harder to get rid of those.
Believe me, it's last year, this past year on the road, I gained 33 pounds. On the road.
Wait, how long were you on the road?
From April through November.
Okay, 7 months.
Yeah. So, but before that,
you did your time.
I had lost 44 pounds. So now my goal is to lose those 33 that I gained, just to kind of regulate and show my.
Even not working in the beer industry, when I used to travel for business, I mean, it was so hard to be even close to responsible. I mean, you're eating on the go, maybe client dinners.
So much. That's the thing. It's for us, we're constantly doing these big food and beer dinners. That's such a big part of craft beers, craft food. So every city I go in, it's not like you're going just to a McDonald's. Like you're going and you're having a 3-4 course meal, sometimes 5-course meal, and you can't say no, and you can't go vegetarian route because you created this menu. So, it's like, all right, 5 courses, all very rich foods, and we're pairing them with all these beers.
Well, the second I would hit the airport and I'd have time to kill, I'm like, oh, Rick Bayless has a place at O'Hare. All right, guess I'm going for a torta before I even get on the plane.
And you know how it is with traveling. Sometimes you're not even hungry, but it's like, oh, I'm in California. Got to stop by In-N-Out.
Exactly.
You can't not.
I have done that. I'm 15 minutes away from the Sacramento airport. I'm sure there's an In-N-Out here somewhere.
Yeah, and you look it up on your phone, and they're everywhere. So, yeah, so it is tough. And right now, my coworker and I are actually trying to work with HR on like having them help us with gym costs and stuff because we travel so much, and
can they help with your swearing? Can you work with them on your swearing?
I don't know if no that can never be fixed or helped.
I've known you for a while. You don't strike me as a terribly profane person.
When the mics are off, it just comes out. I don't know why. I know how to be professional. I think that's what it is.
Attaboy.
Yeah, but once the mics are off, it's F this, F that, and I'm like, why am I saying that? I don't even have to say that.
So, all right, back to the cookbook. You're 2 cookbooks in. How hard is it to put something like that together? I mean, just the act of writing is hard. It's demanding. It's a lot of doubting yourself, editing yourself, going back to the proverbial drawing board. A cookbook, you have the extra layer of complexity, which is you have to build stuff and write about it.
Yeah. We're very fortunate, and I can never stress this enough, to have a writer like John Carruthers. I mean, he's
a funny dude.
He's hilarious. He's so smart, and it's funny when he edits me, and he knows exactly what I'm thinking. He knows how to really put it into words, and he's almost like a tattoo artist for me. I have a bunch of tattoos, and there's an artist that I have that I always go to, and I would go in there with an idea in my mind. I don't just get something off the wall. I really think about what I want, and then I go in there and I say, this is what I want, and then he comes back and he shows me what he came up with, and it's like this is perfect. So that's how Carruthers is. So you go there, and you've got a funny quip, and you show it to him, and he just kind of adds that other level where it's just like, all right, I had to hit a triple, and you made this a grand slam, so this is awesome. And he loves writing. It's so natural to him. So, I can't stress enough how important it is to have someone like that, because it just makes everybody else that much better.
I have no ink, by the way. I was thinking about maybe getting a 40s pinup bombshell kind of thing. Maybe an anchor.
You should, maybe something on the neck. How about that?
On the neck. Yeah.
If you're gonna go big.
I was thinking about the full phoenix back tattoo with the wingspan spreading out to my shoulder blades. The problem is, got to shave a lot of hair to get there.
Well, they shave it for you, so it's. I just got my back. I've had a big tattoo, but I'm like completely hairless. I always wanted chest hair growing up because I thought it was like all the cool kids have chest hair. And
yeah.
Never got it. In my beard, I finally got it. And that took forever. I was like, oh man, can I at least get a goatee or something, like a terrible new metal goatee? And then it just started growing. And now I'm like, all right, cool. I've got 3 chest hairs. Maybe by the time I'm 40 or 50, I have 10.
This is an important podcast episode. We're learning that you're by and large smooth.
Very smooth. My friend Ken that I work with was giving me a hard time. He's like, you always bring this up. I'm like, no, I've got no complex. It's fine. It's cool. I don't need chest hair. And he's like, you always bring up the fact that you don't have chest hair and you want it. I'm like, well, all right, maybe just for a day, I guess.
It can be a burden.
Like a Freaky Friday
At the
thing.
local pool, it can be a burden.
I could see that.
Yeah, a little self-conscious.
See, why don't you get a tattoo so they shave it, and then you're like, now I just have to maintain.
God, well, here's the thing. I remember years ago I had a mole removed from my chest, and they had to look at it and biopsy it. It was perfectly fine. But they shaved that area. It was the most uncomfortable thing for about 2 weeks until the hair grew back.
Yeah.
Every time I turned, it would be like a raw exposed nerve.
Ouch.
So, no. I am living with it for better or for worse. All right, so we are at Superdawg. We should order some food. I'm starving. I can't look at this menu and not want to start ordering.
I keep on looking over your shoulder. And it's not that I don't want to make eye contact, but that burger is just, it's...
Their burger is pretty great.
Yeah.
I mean,
everything here, the menu throughout is damn good.
It's funny. My son just turned 14 2 weeks ago, and he didn't want a big party. He came here. We took him here for his birthday.
Smart kid.
Didn't want to do it. Do you want to go take your friends to see a movie? No. Do you want to go bowling or miniature golf? No, I just kind of want to go to Superdawg and then maybe go for ice cream afterward.
Awesome. And they actually have great ice cream here, too.
I know. Well, they do the squares.
Yeah.
Which are fantastic. All right, we'll take a break. We're going to order food, and we'll eat it for your enjoyment shortly here on Car Con Carne.
Did you flip the switch?
Is that what I thought you were supposed to...
Isn't it?
I thought you were supposed to push the red button.
I thought it was you have to flip the switch.
Is that right? No, that's for tray pickup. Oh, now I'm confused.
No, I'm confused. Because I always go in.
See, I thought it was the red button. Oh, I don't know. We may be here a while.
I'm so scared.
I'm going to flip the switch. If they yell at me, I'm blaming you.
If they yell, I'm running out of the car.
How dare you? All right, here we go. I'm going to flip the switch. That's for the tray pickup. Oh, but Jesse, what are you doing to me?
Maybe that gets attention, though.
Oh, come on. Okay. It's flipped. And we know what we want.
You know what I really, really want, but I can't have is their malts.
Their malts are so good.
Yeah. And they have that super brownie, too. Oh, a la mode. It's seriously... I'm lactose intolerant, and it would make the rest of the podcast very intolerable.
You'd be squirming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tight enough as it is in here. Well, as we wait, I can post a selfie of the two of us for all of social media.
Thanks for stopping. May I take your order, please?
Certainly. We would like a super cheesy, a whoops.
Super cheesy? Sure. Did you want everything, including hot peppers on it?
Yes, please.
And would you like the onions grilled or raw?
Jesse?
Grilled, please.
Grilled, please.
Grilled, okay. And you can have it on a bun or dark rye bread.
Bun.
Bun, please.
Okay.
Also, Superdawg.
Sure. Everything, including hot peppers on that?
Heck yeah.
Okay.
A whoopski dog.
Okay. And we serve that with grilled onion sauce and a pickle. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And a Coke and a Diet Coke.
You got it. Anything else for you?
That'll do it.
What size for the Coke and the Diet? Large, medium, or small?
Large.
Medium.
Large for the diet, medium for the regular.
You got it. Anything else for you?
That'll do it.
All right, thank you very much. Just give it all some cooking time. The car will be out as soon as it's ready for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love this place.
Yes.
Oh my
I
God,
was
I
just
love
gonna
this
say
place.
that. I love that so much.
I hope that all got recorded because just the mannerism and the courtesy and
The Haya is what gets me.
Oh, wait, hang on. Did I do something wrong?
Were you guys trying to order?
Oh, we just ordered. I shouldn't have flipped that switch, should I? It's his fault.
No, it's his fault. I
He
told
told me
him
to
not
flip
to.
the switch. He told me.
I was yelling at him. I said, "Don't do it."
But I'll be right. What's your order?
We already placed the order. I'm sorry about the switch.
It's okay.
It's his fault. His name is Jesse. He's a douche.
Way to throw me under the man.
Sorry.
The enforcers came out.
All right, hey, I'm trying to post a picture of the two of us. We're really almost uncomfortably handsome in this picture, Jesse.
I'm making a creepy face. I'm really good at making creepy faces. Have you noticed that?
No, I haven't. But here's my problem. It never fails. Whenever I try to do the selfie thing, I'm always with someone, by the way. I don't do solo selfies. I never know where to look, even though I think it's pretty obvious where the camera is. I'm always looking in an odd direction, like I'm touched, like I'm special, like I can't.
I always look up, like I'm looking at something above the phone, or like I think there's got to be some kind of selfie guidelines, right? Like you look somewhere that looks.
I am not good at that. All right, here we go. Now you look different in this picture.
I'm doing a creepy face.
That must be what it is. All right, so I'm going to post this to the gram. Talk for a second. Well, I can't type and talk at the same time.
So,
What's your handle on Instagram?
it's at Jesse ManBQ.
Oh, there you go. All right, go ahead.
So we were talking about the ice cream. They have the square ice cream. What was that place? It's another Chicago place that does the square ice cream. That kinda
Rainbow
has
Cone?
Is it?
When I was a kid, growing up in Skokie, there was a place called Cock Robin.
That's what it was. Robin.
And they would do the square scoops.
Yeah.
And it was on Skokie Boulevard. And I think it's become like a pet store and a million other things since. But when I was a kid, that was a big deal. We'd go to Cock Robin and have the square ice cream.
That
I can't
place
believe you remember that.
They had one of those actually in Logan Square.
Really?
Yeah. But the one that we used to go to was right next to Gene and Jude's.
Okay.
Remember that one?
Uh-huh.
And that closed down a few years ago. I mean, when I say few, it's probably been like 20 years now, but I'm damn old, so.
Here's the thing. As I'm typing this into Instagram, I started writing me and Jesse ManBQ at Superdawg Drive-In for Cock Robin. No, it's for car. See, I'm telling you, I can't do these two things simultaneously.
Women are supposed to be better multitaskers than men, so you're forgiven.
Well, I've had moments on the radio, like doing talk radio on WGN. Like I've been able to send emails while doing interviews. Like if someone is especially long-winded.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do the email, but I can't email as I'm talking.
Yeah. With me and like now on the phone, I'm so used to when I'm out doing stuff for work and talking to people, because I get in these long-winded conversations with these beer nerds, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm at the point now that I can actually like do work, respond to emails while someone's telling me how many beers they have in their collection and they're selling.
Wait. What do you mean by people collect unopened beers?
Yeah.
Is this kind of like the Star Wars thing where people collect the unopened box toys?
It's worse than that, because there's
I truly don't understand this.
There's a bunch of beer collectors. I mean, there's a lot of these breweries all over the country that do these one-off beers, these just limited runs on beers, and you get these guys that go and they buy these beers and they make it seem like it's the most rare thing ever and drive up the price, and it's just like with anything out there, any kind of collectible item, and there's like this elitism and what's the word I'm looking for? It's a really big turnoff for craft beer for me. I've met people and they just have this very entitled attitude, and it's gross.
Oh, wait, here we go.
Here we go.
This is it.
Guys, how you doing?
Yes.
Good. Hello. Oh, I need to roll up my window a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yep. Perfect. There's the large diet.
That's me.
So I told James not to flip the switch, and he would not listen.
He told me to flip the
happens.
switch. I pushed the red button.
It's a rookie mistake, though.
I pushed the red button. I thought that was what I was supposed to do.
Next time, you know.
All right,
We
well,
got these Superdawg, everything, including
Oh,
hot
yeah.
peppers for you.
Thank you.
Super cheesy, everything.
oh my gosh.
And the whoopsie dog.
You are magnificent. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thank
Will
you
do.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, this is...
Oh my God, this smells like heaven.
This smells amazing. All right, so this is great. Here's your straw. I love this. I've got a tray resting on my window. And your dog is just packed underneath a bunch of crinkle fries.
Oh my gosh. So the box says, "From the bottom of my pure beef heart, thanks for giving me this chance to serve you, Superdawg."
Have some napkins. You will need them.
Thank you.
So I've got the Whoopski dog here. There's separation.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the Superdawg, I do have the separation. Look, this is a thing of beauty, isn't it?
It's gorgeous.
It really brings a tear to my eye. I've got catsup, if you'd like it. So we've got the burger to
For the record, I'm putting the ketchup on my fries, not my hot dog.
We know. Dude, you're ManBQ. But I guess it bears some explaining. Why do we as a city all agree that ketchup is unacceptable and a crime punishable by death when it comes to hot dogs?
I think maybe it's like a made-up thing. You know, it's not even real tomato. It's sweet. It's just... I don't know. Mustard is so acceptable.
And relish, which is the sweetest thing ever.
Yeah.
These fries are so good.
They're perfectly crispy.
They're perfectly crispy and so flavorful. Yeah, I would eat here every day if it didn't cause a huge problem.
If you couldn't have a heart attack,
Mm-hmm.
what 3 places would you eat at every day?
This could very well be one of them.
Yeah, I think so.
I got to get back to you on that. I mean, do you have some that come immediately to mind?
I would say Bert's Place, but since been closed, so...
Bert's
maybe-
Place was weird, dude.
I loved it. I loved their pizza, though.
More than Pequod?
You know, to be completely candid, probably not. But it was one of those places where, like, you get the street cred. Like, yeah, I love...
And to explain Bert's Place, if you're unfamiliar, the guy who created the pizza at Pequod went off on his own, like, I want to say the early 1970s, and started Bert's Place, like a block and a half away from Pequod. It was his house, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it certainly didn't look like a restaurant as you were driving by, and you couldn't walk in off the street. You had to call in advance, and you had to tell him exactly what you're going to have, because he made everything to order for that night's dinner crowd.
Yeah.
And the place hadn't been not even decorated, cleaned, it looked like, since like 1986.
But the pizza was damn good.
Pizza was good. I do think Pequod was better.
I love Pequod, but my absolute favorite pizza in Chicago is Home Run Inn.
Home Run Inn's great.
So good, they just opened one on the north side, too, which is...
Where's that?
Super convenient. You know that Leona's that used to be on Belmont and Sheffield?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a Home Run Inn now.
All right, I will never go there then. There's
It's a pain in the ass to get there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's just a douchey crowd.
Uh-huh. I mean, unless there's something happening at the Vic, or I happen to be at a Cubs game, which I don't see happening.
I don't know what the last show at the Vic was that I saw.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me. I said it before, but concerts are really expensive. You have to be really selective about what you choose to see. I did get on the Slayer list for February, though.
Oh, really?
Yes. All right, I'm going in for the... You haven't even made it to the hot dog yet, have you?
I'm that weirdo that has to eat his sides before he gets to them.
I do that, too. This Whoopski dog is so intensely hot, it's almost hard to hold. Kind of like you, Jesse.
But I'm very cuddly. I'm very cuddly, so I'm very easy to hold.
This is just a mess.
How good
Look
is
at
it,
oh man, it looks so good.
So my first date ever here, I was making my date laugh because I was talking about how green the relish was, and I mean now it's probably not funny, but we were trying to figure out what the pickled tomato was, and I was making up stories of what it was, and that sealed the deal. Crush was real. We broke up a month later because I got grounded and she went to the beach without me. I thought it was a complete betrayal.
Clearly it was.
But the funny thing is, she's still one of my best friends, and her brother and her family we're all very, very close. She's gonna have to listen to this.
So you still talk to a lot of people from high school?
I wouldn't say a lot of people, but people that really I feel made a difference in my life are still a part of my life, which is awesome.
That is pretty cool. I mean, I went for years without talking to anyone from high school, not out of hatred or malice or anything, just
Life happens.
Life happens, exactly. I will say social media obviously has helped.
Yeah.
And bring a lot of people back into my life, and it's been kind of cool. It's like you all kind of did time together.
Yeah.
In a different period of your life, but there's a shared history there, which is kind of neat.
I was recently at my high school reunion, reconnect with some friends, and I'm actually going to go visit a friend after this. And it was funny because we can joke about 90s stuff and not feel like weirdos. Where now I work with a lot of young people, and you crack a joke, and they're just kind of like, they look at you so lost. Crack a Billy Corgan joke, and they're kind of like, why are you even talking about that guy?
All right, pumpkins, pro or con?
I'm going to be that guy that says, I like their earlier stuff better. But I do. I mean, I was not a big... After Siamese Dream, I kind of just fell off.
Really? Even Melancholy?
I did not like that album. I thought it was too slick, too... I like pop music. And I think pop music... And I've changed since, but I always felt before I was in a band, and I was kind of like, pop music and rock and roll should be separate. I didn't respect slick production on records. I just didn't. And now I like Taylor Swift songs. And I'm like, I always loved Michael Jackson, so it was kind of hypocritical of me, but at the time, and I can't get into that record.
All right, how's the dog?
So good.
This Polish is perfectly cooked too.
Did you know that Superdawg makes their own hot dogs?
I did know that. So again, it goes back to the question, what makes a good hot dog? Now, in this case, this Polish, it's pure beef, Romanian, Hungarian, Polish sausage. There's a lot of flavor. A little hint of spice.
A lot of spices in there.
It is a very rich tasting sausage. I love it.
And that's how this hot dog, it's like, it's bigger than your average Vienna.
It definitely is.
Beefier. Which is good.
That's great. They put a sauce on the Polish. It's not mustard. It's not ketchup. It's just the Superdawg sauce, and it kind of soaks into the bun.
Yeah. It's almost like a barbecue-ish
yes,
sauce.
Yes, very much so.
Which you don't think of barbecue sauce on a Polish or a Euro, whatever it is.
These onions are fantastic, too. Are you done with your dog?
Yeah.
I'm going to put it back on the tray. I think I have more napkins in the car. I pray I have more napkins in the car. How do you only use one napkin?
I'm careful. Meticulous.
Are you kidding me? I've got, onions on my jacket.
I think knowing that I have a limited amount of napkins makes me be more cautious.
Okay.
When I have, something sitting on a table that says, be a slob. We're here for you.
Yeah.
Then I just go through a bunch of napkins.
All right, you want to break open the burger?
Let's do it.
Oh, my God.
Right?
It's the cheese and the relish on there.
And it's a small burger. It's not a very thick burger, and it's...
Oh, man. But I like just a straight-up burger like that. That is right on the money.
The grilled onions are what do it for me on this burger.
I will need to go home and rub my belly. All right, so when is the cookbook out?
April 2016.
Did the first one come out around the same time of year? Yeah, because I want to say it was right before Father's Day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's smart. Is that the thinking, is make sure it's out and about before Father's Day hits? Because it's the perfect opportunity. And Memorial Day.
That's really up to the publisher. They kind of pick the date, and we were, on our end, as the writers, we're kind of like, why don't we put it out right before Christmas? But they have their cycles as to why, and their reason as to why, and we trust them blindly.
But I think you see a lot of the big celebrity chef cookbooks come out around December.
Yeah.
You'll see like the Food Network cookbooks come out around then.
And that's a whole different like mentality. I mean, those guys are, when you've got a celebrity cookbook author or chef, I mean, those guys are going to sell a ton.
Right, and that's kind of where I was going. I mean, traditionally in music, all the big releases come out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Starting in September. That's when publishers, record companies, etc., put out all their sure things.
Yeah.
So the ManBQue's of the world, a soon-to-be sure thing, probably makes more strategic sense to have a whole year to develop.
Yeah. Yeah, and the cool thing is too, like with their first book, I still see people putting pictures of the book, like popping it up. People still finding it in places.
That's the coolest
which is
feeling.
super cool, yeah. My friend Tina, she actually is a brewer up in Minnesota, and she sent me a picture of Snapchat.
Do you just know brewers in every major market now?
Pretty much.
Okay.
They're such great people. That's the thing. It's there's such a community around craft beer. It's I've been so fortunate to travel the country and that I love making friends with people, so it's
You are gregarious, you are social.
a little bit. So it's cool going to these different cities, and I mean, off the bat, you have that connection because we all work in beer. So that you have at least one thing in common. Then you talk to these guys, and everybody's just super cool.
So is it the situation where it's just a bunch of hobbyists who found a way to make a living off their hobby?
Some guys were homebrewers, and they wanted to take it to the next level. And
But isn't homebrewing a hobby?
Yeah, but you've got other guys that went straight from, like, homebrewing a little bit to, like, going to school for this.
Got it. Wait, really?
Uh-huh.
You can do that?
There's in Chicago, there's Siebel Institute, which is like a beer college, pretty much.
Wow, okay.
Super cool. And then
I learn something new every time I talk to you.
there's other guys that I know, too. A lot of engineers that are now in brewing, which is pretty cool. Because they've got that, their mind kind of works the same as a brewer, developing recipes and whatnot. So, and that's another thing, too. It's like meeting these guys and learning their path to brewing. Everybody has something different, which is cool.
Knowing how impassioned you are about beer and how it is part of your daily life, I mean, do you see yourself personally going further in the beer direction? Like, ManBQ will always be ManBQ, but do you ever see yourself kind of planting a bigger flag in the beer world?
John Scholl and I always talked about doing some kind of brewing, whether it was us brewing at a different brewery, because it's a lot of money to launch your own brewery, but him and I are such big beer nerds, and we constantly talk about beer and are constantly trying different beers, and it'd be cool to one day, we've done collaborations with different breweries. I would be lying if I said that I wouldn't ever want to do a ManBQ beer, like a line of ManBQ beers.
See, it seems like a very natural brand extension.
Yeah, and it's hopefully in the cards, and maybe someday we'll do it. But I've told you, like, I've got so much on my plate, so it's really like that takes a lot of time and attention, and I would hate to start something and not give it that love that it needs. I don't want to do anything half-assed, because then the results will show that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
hard when you have a lot of ideas, figuring out which ones get preferential treatment.
And before, when ManBQ was my full-time job, when I was relying on the money I was making from catering, it was different. But now I have a boss. I have a company that I work for that I really love very much, and they pay my bills. So that has to come first and foremost, and everything else essentially becomes, lined up in that hobby category.
You just said the magical thing. ManBQ is your full-time job.
Yeah,
that's the entrepreneurial. There's an American success story right there.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I've always said that I've everything I've ever kind of set out to do, I've wanted to do. Things weren't by accident. When ManBQ kind of came about, it was one of those things where I saw what I had there, and at the time I was working at a very secure Fortune. I think they're like a Fortune 100 company, based out of Chicago, out of Deerfield. They're a pharmacy. They're big. And, I wasn't what I wanted to do. And I took this leap of faith, and at a time where jobs weren't very plentiful, I left to really pursue ManBQ. And a lot of people don't know this, but I took a year off of drinking, just a year off of partying, to really focus on ManBQ, because I felt if I'm leaving this job, I feel stupid, so I have to prove to myself that I'm really in for the long haul. So the one time I drank was when I made beer at New Holland with the guys from Three Aces. We all drove up there and made beer. That was the only time. And I'll tell you what, I drank 3 beers and 2 shots, and I was hammered.
I bet you were.
I was annihilated. I was that guy walking in the middle of the street like, wow, this is so fun.
You were a T-boxer.
Oh, my gosh. That is terrible. That wasn't that one. That wasn't that bad. But, yeah, so it was, and that was for me the dedication I had to this crazy idea that I really fully believed in, and I tell people, like, I was out till, like, there was nights where I was out till 5 in the morning because you're making these connections, you're hanging out with these guys, and they have to gain your trust. And I'm like, hey, we should do an event together, and it's like, yeah, man, totally. And like, you stick with them, and you're completely sober, jacked up on Coca-Cola or like ginger ale, and then the next day you call them at 10 in the morning. You're like, hey, dude, great talking to you. Like, when do you want to do this event? And they're kind of like, I don't know, how about in 3 weeks? Cool, let's do it. Like.
That's fantastic. You go for the close when their heads are foggy and they're trying to piece together details from the previous night.
But I've made a lot of really great friends that way. It started off with me it's about being hungry. Thank you.
You're calling it quits?
I'm done. I ate that big hot dog by myself.
I know. I'm going to have another fry, though.
Those fries
Oh,
are
dude,
so
you
good.
didn't even... It's like you didn't even try.
I didn't eat the fries. The fries are just filler for me on the second sandwich.
It's like you don't even care about this burger.
But yeah, I've always been a hustler, and for ManBQ, that's what it took, And it's funny now working for a company where we have a really great budget. We can do what we want to do. With ManBQ, everything that we were doing was on a complete, if we even had a budget, a shoestring budget. Like, you have to hustle and find ways to get things done. You have to find someone that knows how to do this that's going to be free or like really cheap, and you're piecing these events together, and it takes a toll on you a bit, but what are the results? 2 books. I've made some really great friends through ManBQ. I'm sitting in the car with you.
Yeah, that's how I met you.
So it's at the end of the day, it's been so worth it, and I would not trade anything for that experience.
What do we have to do to get a ManBQ concert series going?
Wow, just some good.
Think
sponsors.
about that.
Good sponsors. That's it.
Think about that. Live music event.
I've always wanted to. We're in a city that lives and breathes street festivals, right? Mm-hmm. So my thing was, I always wanted to do a meat, beer, rock and roll festival.
Sure.
But it's like, where you look at the calendar, and really, it's like, where is there room in that calendar?
What intersection isn't spoken for in the summer?
And really, what it comes down to, it's that. It's just, you can get the sponsors. We can get the food, the beer, and the bands, but it's like, you're competing against some other street festival every weekend. Mm-hmm. But I've always wanted to do a ManBQ festival. It's been, we've talked about this for years, but it's almost one of those things where we'd be better served finding another city, like maybe where one of our other chapters resides.
Or doing something indoors during the cold weather.
True. We do this festival with empty bottle called what is it? Something Frozen Dancing.
Okay.
And it's a festival in the middle of winter outside with bands. It's the funniest thing.
By the way, I tried to flip the switch. I can no longer reach the switch. We're just going to be here until tomorrow. I don't. The tray is impeding my.
I can run out and flip it, or.
I've got a bad feeling about this, Jesse. Okay, no, all right.
See?
Who's a genius? I am so bloated and full right now, I thought my seatbelt was on. Nope, that's just my own stomach restraining me. Okay, here we go. Oh, holy Christ. Oh, God. All right. I'm a little embarrassed by that.
That was very fun to watch.
Not proud.
Should have been filming this. I should have Snapchatted
Felt
this.
like a Tyrannosaurus trying to move my little hands around my belly to get that switch pulled. So you have fun? This was great having
This
you
is
on.
amazing. This
Super
is
long
awesome.
overdue.
Yeah, I know. What the heck?
Usually I invite you into a radio studio, but this is kind of like a radio studio.
This is funner than...
It kind of is.
Yeah. This walking into this microphone door was awesome. This apparatus.
See, I want this to be my ManBQ. I want to find a way to make money off of this because this is super fun.
Let me help you find some guests too. I'd love to. You know, I love sharing friends and there's so many people that I know I think would be great at this.
I'd love it.
Yeah, this was awesome, man.
I'm so glad you did this. We'll do it again.
One of my favorite people at one of my favorite places. This is a home run for me.
And John Carruthers, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
How was that barbecue, John?
So if you listen to the show and you like it, please tell a friend. We're on Twitter at Car Con Carne, carconcarne.com. Also, you can support Car Con Carne through our Patreon page. And by our, I mean mine, but really the show's. Patreon, patreon.com/Car Con Carne. Jesse Valenciana, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.